Well, hello guys, and welcome back to Custom Gamer. It's been a while since I've done a mapping diary, so here we go. This is what I've been working on since the last time I did one. I've had a lot of mapper's block actually. I haven't mapped for a very long time, but recently I've had a bit of inspiration, so I've got something to show you at least. So I was kind of working on my episode, working on that large outside area I've shown you a couple of times already. And I decided that I'm sick and tired of working on outdoor areas, so I started something indoor. Though this is what I've got so far. This is going to be part of the episode. I'm not going to spoil the story for you, but you just have to work it out for yourselves. So I wanted to do a lot of dramatic lighting. As you all know, I always go on about spotlights and shadows and all this stuff in my videos. Yeah, that hurt. I'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, I really wanted lots of spotlights and cool shadows in this map. I really like that visual effect. It's very cool. So yeah, fans and how to place them in stupid places in your map. This is a pretty good example of that. You can hear it, but you don't know where it is, and it sucks you in when you jump down that pit there. Now the idea with that pickup was that you'd grab the pickup and see the fan there. But it doesn't really work, it's kind of awful. The fan really needs to be on the opposite side of this pit so that you can see it as soon as you walk in the door. That's why I added the traffic sign on the rope there, so that you kind of see it was being sucked towards something as a kind of visual clue that something was there, but it doesn't really work that well, it just kind of looks really odd. So yeah, that needs some work. And the fan is there so you can't just jump down the pit, 'cause I wanted to have kind of the answer to a puzzle, like a button or a lever or something that opens the door at the bottom of that pit. So I didn't just want the player to just jump down there. I wanted a little puzzle, which I haven't actually made yet, but you get the idea. And so yeah, this area I kind of wanted to feel a little bit like a kind of parking garage or kind of an in construction kind of tower block that's kind of been repurposed. I won't say any more than that, otherwise it's kind of going into the storyline a bit. But you kind of get the idea. I kind of pick and stole a lot of the textures from the parking garage area of episode 1. And the detailings here is quite minimal. I kind of used the lighting to create a lot of detail rather than actual geometry. It's actually a fairly simple boxy area. Apart from these stairs, which took me bloody forever to make, thanks to Valve using ridiculous angles in their railing models. If you've ever used those stair railing models, I'm sure you know what I mean. The angle on them's like 37.325 degrees rather than a 45 degree incline, which would be easy to map for. Thanks, Valve. So yeah, using the lighting to create the detail rather than actual geometry. Now if we come up here, using my botched ladder, which I need to fix. I'm sure you've all come across that a couple of times in mods. Now this is going to be after you've finished the puzzle falling down the pit. You're going to come up here. Obviously I haven't quite mapped in all the puzzles yet, so there aren't actually any spoilers in this video, which is fantastic. So yeah, just got a couple of corridors here, nothing really special. That's the room with the puzzle solution in, and then you'll probably come back out into this main area later on. And there'll be another way out, probably in that wall there on the far side, to carry on. So if we go no clip. Now, like I mentioned in the Departure Half-Life 2 video, that I was going to show you how to do proper flickering lights with the textures animating correctly and everything. So we'll have a look at that right now. As you can see, the texture changes, the light turns on and off. So let's go into the editor. So here we are. So the model on the wall, you want to, instead of a static, you want a prop dynamic. This is because we're going to be changing the texture on it, so give it a name. Ours is Flicker Light 01. And we've also obviously got the light entity. You want to give that a name as well. Flicker Light 01 underscore light is mine. Set up everything else how you like it. Make sure you keep the appearance on normal, because we're going to be animating it manually. And we've got the glow, lens flare, whatever you want to call it. make sure we give that name as well. We've got flicker light 01 underscore glow. Just set up everything else however you like. And then this is what we're going to be using to animate everything. A logic underscore timer. Give it a name. You don't need a name for triggering, but it just keeps everything clean so you know what all your entities are doing. Alright, so you want to use random time, yes. Now these minimum and maximum refire intervals are going to control how fast the light will flicker. So you want to play with these values until you find something you like. I find these values here look pretty nice in game. Obviously this is just my preference, so you're going to want to play around with that and find something you like yourself. Obviously you don't want the values too low, otherwise it's going to be some kind of epileptic disco light, and it's quite harsh on the eyes, so just be careful. Now this is important. You want to turn on the oscillator flag, and this alternates between on timer high and on timer low outputs, which is exactly what we're going to be using to triggering our lights. So when it triggers on timer high, we're going to turn everything off, and when it triggers on timer low, we're going to turn everything back on again. And here's the outputs to do that. So as you can see, we've got on timer high. We turn off the light, we turn off the glow using hide sprite, and the flicker light we change the skin to 1, which is because on that particular light model, skin 1 is with the light off and skin 0 is with the light on. So as you can see here, on timer low, we turn everything back on again, skin goes to 0. The glow, use the show sprite command to turn it on, and flicker light 01 light to turn back on. And then in the game, there you go, you've got an animated light. Easy peasy. And obviously you can add a sound in here as well using ambient generic, and you can turn that on and off here. So if you've got a cool kind of fluorescent light buzzing sound, you can trigger that as well with this, and it works just fine. So back to the game. Alright, so you can have a look at the light there. That's what it looks like with those values. Obviously you could make it flicker slightly faster, but you know, I didn't really want to. So what else is new here? You can see we've got some interesting use of the Half-Life 2 Episode 2 mines models there. You've got some support beams that are actually used in upright position there. Again, this kind of ties into the story in a way, but again, just like the repurposed building kind of motif. I won't go into that anymore. And I'm not quite sure about the lighting in general here. It might just be too bright. I can't really decide yet. Obviously I've just kind of gone all out on the detail here, set up all the fog, all the lighting, all the texturing, everything like that. This is kind of what I do when I start a new map. I just make like one room like this with like full detail, full lighting, get everything looking how I want it to, and then kind of use that as a visual reference for the rest of the map. So the rest of the map I'll probably block out in dev textures from here, but I'll just keep this room in mind when I'm doing that, so that it all still fits together into a, you know, a coherent visual style at the end. So there's not really much else I can show you at the moment. So we're going to have a look at another map I've been working on. This is something I made a couple of years ago actually, but I've been thinking about repurposing it into this same mod that I'm working on. I actually entered this map into a map battle on interlopers.net a couple of years ago. The map battle was to create a abandoned theme. So here we are. So I decided to go for like an abandoned factory warehouse type thing. A lot of other people went for a more kind of human abandonment feel. So I had like people looking lonely in places like that, which, you know, I just when I think of abandoned, this is what I think of. I really love this kind of abandoned you know, architecture being reclaimed by nature. It's just presses all my buttons. I guess that's why I love Stalker so much, and games like Stalker, Fallout and things like that. Yeah, see, there's a couple of errors here, like you couldn't actually see up there in the screenshot I posted on Interlopers, so there's a couple of things here which don't really make sense, because you couldn't see them in the screenshots I posted. But like, when you're doing like an abandoned place like this, it's all the little details which really bring it to life. So like all these like ceiling tiles which are still hanging on, and you've you actually got modelled geometry on the ceiling there where they all fit into place. Just little attention to detail, little things like that, which really bring out the abandoned feel for me. Which is interesting, because you'd think it'd be more about, you know, the general feel of the area, which in a sense is true, but for me it's just all the little bits of detail, like all the little bits of rust in the corners and you know, things like that. Light shafts on the walls, you know, little plants growing out of surfaces. Just all the little things like that which really does it for me. So yeah, this will probably get sort of tweaked and remade. You can see there's a lot of errors in it that you couldn't see in the screenshots. Like this displacement goes into the wall, so it gets hit by the sun, which is why it kind of lights through the wall like that. So you want to make sure your displacements line up to geometry to avoid visual errors like that. You see this happens again on the wall there as well. But yeah, this will probably be a level later on in the mod. It'll probably kind of join up to that level I just showed you actually. It would be kind of on the way out of that area you were in. Again, it's all still pretty rough right now. I've kind of got this very, very loose story in my head, because I don't really like the story to dictate what I can map. I'd rather just map what I think's fun and then kind of work the story around that, which might seem a bit backwards to some people, but I really dislike having story get in the way of what you want to make. So I'd rather make exactly what I want to make and then bend the story around it, which might seem a bit odd when you play it, but you just have to deal with it. So yeah, there's not really much of this, it's just kind of 2 rooms right now, but I think I got the abandoned feel down quite nicely. Obviously there's absolutely no ambience or anything like that, as it was just going to be a screenshot before, so yeah, that needs some work. These lens flares are way too strong as well. But yeah, that's that. I don't know why I decided to fly around here, but hey, there we go. You just kind of get a bit of an extra feeling on what it looks like at the top, I guess. But there's not really much to see. Again, you've seen it all now, so we'll skip ahead onto one final bit of video I wanted to show you. And well, I'll show you the screenshot that got me going on this next part right now. Here we are. So I found this on my epic travels throughout the internets, and this particular screenshot blew my mind, so I instantly loaded up Hammer and tried to recreate it in full. This is only about 20 minutes, half an hour's worth of work, so it's absolutely just a box map with some geometry in it right now. But unfortunately Half-Life 2 doesn't have particularly good foliage models. Certainly not for what I wanted to use it for, kind of moss growing around all over this geometry here, but I did the best I could with what was available. Yes, which wasn't very much sadly, but you get the idea. But oh, that screenshot is just amazing. I think it's got excellent potential for a Half-Life map. Kind of, you can imagine like a big fortress island, and you kind of start in the sea, and you can choose to go in the front door, you can go around the back and attack that way. It'd just be kind of a great kind of non-linear assault map, I think, which could be really fun. If you can imagine just a big island and you get to choose lots of different paths up onto it, and it could kind of change the gameplay around depending on which path you pick. That could be excellent. So yeah, that's just a bit of a mapping doodle for you guys. So that's all I've been done, really. I mean, like I said, I've had mappers block the past month or two, and which really sucks. I just haven't been in the mood to map at all, and then all of a sudden I had this inspiration and went a bit nuts on a load of maps all at once. So let me know what you think in the comments, guys. If you have got any questions, feel free to ask them. I can always follow up with answers, and I will see you guys next time.